If you're over 70 years old and you've been suffering with sciatica, in today's video I'm going to show you how to help the problem and why my advice is probably different to any of the other videos you've seen online. If you don't know who I am, my name is Will Harlow and I'm the over 50s specialist physio here at HT Physio in Farnham. And today I'm going to be showing seniors how to fix sciatica. Now, the reason my advice today is going to be different from the other videos you might have seen online is because the way we treat sciatica is different depending on the person's age. And I'm going to explain that more in a minute. So if you've been looking up exercises for sciatica, no doubt you will have come up with terms like disc bulge or bulging disc, or herniated disc, or spinal stenosis, or piriformis syndrome. You will have seen all of these things on your travels looking for the right exercises. And depending on the person's age, the likelihood of one of these problems being the cause changes dramatically. So for example, people who suffer from sciatica can be almost any age, and we see a lot of sciatica in the age ranges of 30 to 50 years old. And more often than not, the people who are between the ages of 30 to 50 are suffering from sciatica due to a bulging or herniated disc. That probably accounts for about 90% of the cases within that age group. Now, the reason people in that age group tend to suffer with bulging or herniated discs is because they're still young, they have a lot of water inside their discs, so their discs are tall and plump, and when they suffer an injury to the disc, the inner material from the disc can push out of the disc quite far because it's well hydrated. So there's a lot of material there to leave where it should be, and that tends to aggravate the nerve. Now, what happens as we get older, typically over the age of about 60 to 70 years old, the discs in our spine dramatically dry out. So they lose their water weight, they become thinner. We call this degenerative discs, but it's not always as bad as it sounds. Sometimes it's just the process of natural aging. And people end up with a bit of stiffness around these parts of the disc, and there isn't as much water, so the bulge that happens can't be as bad. So people who are over the age of 70 tend not to have the same sort of sciatica as people who are between 30 and 50. Now, this isn't always the case. Sometimes people still have well-hydrated discs way into their 70s, but more often than not, this is what happens. So that means that if you're trying to do exercises designed for someone with a bulging disc or a herniated disc who's got a well-hydrated disc, you're going to either make the problem worse or just not help your symptoms at all. So people who are over the age of 70, rather than having bulging and herniated discs causing the problem, their problem tends to be more due to degenerative discs. So a degenerative disc basically means this area here becomes thinner. That means the gaps between the nerves become smaller, and that can lead to a nerve becoming more easily pinched. The other thing that affects people over the age of 70 is arthritis of the spine. So these here are our facet joints. They're the joints that join the vertebra. They have cartilage between them. As we get older, we lose some of that cartilage. The joint becomes stiffer, it doesn't move quite so well, and that can again lead to the nerves becoming trapped. And then if that gets to a certain point, we call that spinal stenosis, and that's a whole different condition entirely. It's when the person feels like they have to lean forward to open those spaces up inside the spine so that the nerves can almost breathe a little bit better. Now, the way we treat spinal stenosis and degenerative disc is very different to how we would treat a bulging or herniated disc in someone who's much younger. So in this video, I'm going to show you some exercises that are better for seniors with sciatica and why you should avoid some of the exercises that you will see for people with bulging or herniated discs. So let's have a look at the exercises in a moment. Before I show you what they are, I just want to say that about 88% of people who watch these videos have not yet subscribed to the channel. So if that's you, scroll down, hit the subscribe button, and then you'll be the first to hear about our new videos when they come out. Anyway, that being said, let's have a look at some of the exercises that will be better for seniors with sciatica. So now I'm going to show you some exercises that are great for sciatica for people who are in their 70s and above. Now, these exercises are not suitable for everyone, so make sure you get checked out first, and if they cause you any pain, just avoid them. The reason these are really good is because they don't aggravate problems like stenosis or arthritis of the spine, and even if you have degenerative discs, they can help to loosen things up and improve the irritation. So the first couple of exercises I'm going to show you can do from lying down, and doing it on your bed is totally fine. You don't need a firm surface like mine. So what we're trying to do with these exercises really is twofold. We're trying to loosen up the area around the spine, which is where sciatica originates from, and we're trying to bring nice healthy blood flow to any of the structures that might need it in the lower back. It's as simple as that. So the first thing we're going to do is something called knee rolls, and this is such a nice exercise, especially for people with stenosis who prefer to be in this kind of flex position. It works really well. So you're going to lie on your back with your knees bent like this, your head and your shoulders relaxed, and all we're going to do with both knees is roll them over to one side. So both knees travel together, the feet stay where they are, and then you're going to go over to the other side like this. So what you'll notice as you see me doing this is I'm not really holding the movement. There's not massive benefit from holding it in one position. The main benefit in my eyes is through the movement. So every time you move like this, you're getting a bit of lubrication effectively in the lower back, which just helps things to loosen up. So when people are doing this, what I recommend is you can do this as long as you like. It doesn't really cause problems for most people as long as it's pain-free. I would do 15 in each direction, so 30 total, and try and do that a few times a day to loosen up the area that's stiff and sore. So once you've done your knee rolls, you might go straight into another kind of flexion exercise, and I call this a unilateral knee hug or a single leg knee hug. So again, same position. We're now going to bring one leg up. You might start with your painful leg. You can hold either over the top of the knee like this or underneath the thigh, depending on what's easier for you. I'm going to go here. And then your job now is to just pull that knee up towards your chest, just allowing your pelvis to roll underneath you. Okay, so what this is doing is it's putting you into a gentle bit of lumbar flexion. And again, we're not holding it, we're not pulling it up into pain, we're just going up as far as our hip allows and then coming away. You might just come slightly into stiffness and then back down like this. So this is a lovely exercise just to loosen things up. After you've done one side for, again, 15 repetitions is good, you can swap over and do the other. And if this feels like it's loosening things up, that's fantastic. But if you don't feel like you're getting enough from this, you can progress to doing it double-legged. So for this one, you might hold underneath your thighs and pull both at the same time. Remember, we're trying to keep our head and our shoulders relaxed, so they should not leave the pillow. But what we should find is the pelvis rolls underneath and you feel your lower back slightly moving as a result. This is a really nice exercise just to get that flexion back into the spine. So these are really nice exercises for seniors with sciatica. They help to loosen you up. But the other thing we want to do is build some strength. So one of the key areas to build strength in are the glutes. So I'm going to show you an exercise that's good for seniors as well. You can do this lying on your side. And what I would do is I'd come over as far as you can on your side with a hand there just to support you. Again, we're going to keep our feet together, and all we're going to do is lift the top knee without rolling back at all. So it's actually quite a small movement for most people. And when we're doing it correctly, after a few repetitions, we should start to feel this area at the top of the hips start to switch on and start to ache. Again, don't do this exercise if it's painful, but if it feels pain-free, it can really relieve the symptoms of sciatica and back pain as well when done over time. When you've had sciatica for a while, the muscles in your legs do become weaker, the muscles around your core and your back do as well, and the hip, this area here, is really important for supporting those areas. So if we can get them stronger, then it's going to help the injury to heal, and it's going to help the symptoms to reduce. So I would go just to the point of fatigue and then roll over, do the other side. That's a great way to start to build some strength. Let's have a look at one more exercise that will help sciatica in seniors. Then the final exercise I'm going to show you that's great for seniors with sciatica is flexion in a chair. And I love this exercise for people with spinal stenosis that's causing their symptoms, or if you have arthritis, this can be quite good. And even with degenerative discs, this is a good one. So this wouldn't be great for people who are young, who have sciatica. If they've got a big disc bulge, this might make it worse. If you're older, this exercise tends to be better. So what you're going to do is start sitting on a nice firm chair. Dining room chair works really well, feet flat on the floor, and you're going to have two hands on the tops of your knees like this. And all we're going to do is gently start from the top of the spine and start to roll ourselves forward, running the hands down the insides of the legs, trying to get down to your feet. Now, it doesn't matter if you can't get down as far as me. You might actually be able to get further. You might be able to go right down to the floor. But what we're aiming for here is a bit of a stretch on the lower back. You're going to hold for a couple of seconds and then bring yourself back up nice and slowly and just come to a straightened position. So the job of this exercise is to open up those spaces in the lower back where the nerves live and basically just give them a little bit more room to slide and glide within. So I'll show you again. So we're going to roll forward like this, slowly, slowly, slowly. We're using our hands and our arms almost as brakes to kind of slow the movement down. Right down like this as far as you can. You might take a deep breath at the bottom. And with your out breath, you get a little bit more. And then bring yourself back up. You don't have to hold that for a long time. It can be 2 or 3 seconds is fine. And again, we don't have to do loads of these. We can do 2 or 3 in a row, maybe up to 5, a few times a day. And for many seniors, that's a great exercise to relieve sciatica. Again, avoid it if it causes pain, but if it makes your symptoms better, it could be a good exercise for you. So that's how to fix sciatica in seniors. I hope that's been a useful video for you. If it has, please leave a comment below, hit like on the video and subscribe to the channel. And then if you want to get more from me, you can pick up a copy of my book. It's called Thriving Beyond 50. It's got loads of tips about sciatica inside it. So if you scroll down, you can grab it on Amazon using the link below. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your time and I look forward to speaking to you on the next one.